Welcome to the Finding Mojo podcast. Watch and listen to conversations about humble beginnings, struggles, and victories.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm where I am right now, because I'm kind of stubborn. So no, I gotta do this.
Character development really did start when I cosplayed. You bump into troubles when you're younger, and then you realize, oh, I did wrong.
Featuring a healthy melange of guests from different walks of life.
We're trying to find ourselves. We're trying to land our feet on the ground and be part of society. Who are we in society? How can we be useful?
When it comes to youth, I don't know, if you're like 18 years old or 21, 22 years old, just go love a person, love what you do. When you get hurt, just accept it. It's all part of growing up.
Be inspired, get creative, and find your own mojo. The Finding Mojo podcast, powered by BSA Solutions, the place where bright minds meet. A certified great place to work.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Finding Mojo podcast. We are your friends from BSA Solutions. My name is Nico. Hope everyone is well. I don't know if you're feeling the weather, but we are definitely feeling it here. Then again, we're going to take the heat a notch higher because we're going to be talking about something very interesting, especially for the millennials out there. Something very inspirational and aspirational. We have a very special guest today, very young, very successful in this line of field. Everyone, please help me welcome. We have Jericho Bacalso in the house. Hi, Jericho.
Hi, Nico. Thank you for having me here.
Alrighty then. So, I know let's just say most people may not know you, especially those in the podcast, but I know one of us here at BSA knows you a little well because of the competition you had just recently. We're going to talk about that later, but let's talk about yourself. Let's give everyone who's in the podcast a little backgrounder about you, academics, where you studied and everything that led to where you are today.
All right, Nico. I am Jericho, and of course, I'm currently working as a real estate brokerage. And I started actually with nursing, and I graduated way back 2008. And then afterwards, I had my first PRC license, not with nursing, but with real estate.
Wait, hold on. So you graduated as a nurse,
Yeah.
but then got your license as a broker.
Yes, there was a 1-month seminar about real estate, and I took it. And luckily, I had passed it. I also took the nursing exam the year after. And eventually, having the real estate background as well with our family business, I also enrolled to a master's degree in real estate property management. I've also been involved with construction, real estate. Way back 2019, I also took another course. It's a civil engineering course. Luckily, we already had the ATAP, expanded tertiary program. I also finished civil engineering in UC, from nursing to real estate to construction.
Let's just say you don't like studying. Wow, very many academic shifts. But then again, all these shifts will definitely help you because all the learnings, no one can take that away from you. Exactly. And that to me is really amazing. I'm comforted in the fact that you actually take time. You take time to learn all these things and you acquire all these learnings and you're able to apply them in your line of work. Now, what was the reason you shifted from nursing to like real estate?
At the time when I graduated, the US was already closing down. So we are left with what opportunities we have here in Cebu. And that was the last exam with DTI before it got professionalized. So I took the opportunity, and then in just one take, I had it passed, and just looking what opportunities are there.
The nursing background, where did you study?
Nursing, I graduated in Cebu Doctors University.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Was it a hard decision to make the shift? What did the family say about that?
Well, it was, in fact, hard because it was already laid out after graduation, what would be next. And it was just something that, of course, a plan B for me, something I might need somewhere in the future. It was very hard, especially for 4 years. I was mindset to be a caring care nurse.
True.
Although real estate and nursing do have the same care. In real estate, I care for the property buyers and sellers. As a nurse, you care for the patients.
But it's interesting how that shift came about, and I'm glad that you really stood your ground, after deciding to make the shift. And then now you are partnering with Remax. We're going to talk about that in a bit. We are going to shift a little bit because this is a really interesting question. We're going to talk about this in the general sense. I know you're a successful businessman, even as young as you are. Matter of fact, I just want to talk about this. A little trivia. I got connected to Jericho through the wife because my wife and Jericho were classmates back in elementary.
Yes.
Right. And then as we got to talking last week, then I realized we have a lot of people within our network. I wanted to bring Jericho to the podcast because the things that we're going to be talking about, I hope it's going to strike a chord, especially with those millennials out there, those who are trying to figure out who they want to be in life. Because when you were younger, you did a lot of shifts,
yes,
which is really cool. This question, what are the biggest challenges people face in 2025? If you can pinpoint some things.
Well, I might say there's two. One would be there's actually a lot of options out there that you can choose on, especially now depends on where you want the path will take you, either in a business side or in a corporate side.
Right.
So there's a lot of options, and it's a matter of how will you trim down those options and choose one path and be a master of it. Especially with having the social media and all the lifestyle that we have now, it's really beginning to complicate things, maybe for millennials. And the other one, what most probably I would say, is the lack of action. And probably most people would just play it safe, just take opportunities or just be on their comfort zone. Whereas now we are already on the new generation. We have AI. We can learn anything.
Right.
There's Udemy. There's classes for all those skills. It's a matter of how we would upskill ourselves.
You know what? You bring up a very good point. Like, especially for 2025, there's so much knowledge out there, so many opportunities out there. So it's easy to get lost in the mix. Like, where do I really want to go? When, like, I know this, I like art, but at the same time, I'm good with numbers.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm good with social media. So when all these things present itself, and then you're now given a choice, like, where do you really want to go? Do you want to do finance? Do you want to do arts? Do you want to do media? Do you want to do whatever, engineering maybe? So when all these things come about, it's easy for millennials right now to like get lost. Man, let's talk about distractions. So much distraction out there. You have your Netflix, you have your internet, you have your YouTube. Like, everyone wants to be the next vlogger.
Yes.
Everyone wants to be the next viral sensation. Now, that again is so tough for millennials, and I do understand that. But also, like you said, I think the lack of action too really is another struggle, because you said, like, there's Udemy, there's all these courses that you can do, and if you don't pay attention to that, if you don't make time, then of course, so much knowledge, if you don't take it, then someone else will.
And the competition now is getting populated, so it's up to you what to do, what decisions you will take.
Since you already mentioned AI or artificial intelligence, your take on artificial intelligence, is it going to help us? Is it going to replace us? How do you look at it?
Well, currently I believe AI is still developing. Now it's actually a great help, especially for me, to sales or to anyone. Most of it, we lack sometimes the imaginations, ideas. You just type in anything, what ideas are. AI will just structure it for you. And those things are already available to us, and it's up to us to of course, take advantage of it. I don't believe that it will take over at some point. But yeah, it's a matter of how also will make yourself valuable to your job or to where you are right now.
True. If you work with AI very well and integrate it with your job, it's going to make your jobs take a whole lot easier. You end up having a lot of free time to do other things.
Yes, exactly.
Let's just put it that way. Okay, now let's mention some of the noteworthy projects you have done or have been with over the years.
Yeah, with family business, I was involved with our second project, that's Feb Subdivision. It was in Liluan. So back then, we were just thinking about phase one. But when I saw the opportunity, I told my family, oh, we can expand this. We can go to phase two and phase three. Then eventually, we also had another subdivision that's in Consolacion. And that was, history about our family business. And as the business also, or probably I can say I outgrew our business.
Oh, okay.
I also tried to move into construction.
Ah.
And I started the construction prior to pandemic. So I just only need to have one person to believe in me that I can build their house. And I was able, and pandemic hit. Although despite the pandemic, we were still able to have those projects from north, south, and as well as Mactan, and eventually overwhelming us with those projects. Probably the great project for me was actually for myself, that from taking those goals and making it happen. I think that was the greatest project I had.
Okay, now building and constructing, and of course you have all these projects. Which one takes the most amount of time?
Usually the real estate development would take you years to, of course, take the ROI from it, and the management would also be lengthy compared to the construction. That's why I shifted to construction. It's just 6 months or 8 months to manage.
I get what you mean. So when you talk about like subdivision projects, since there's like a whole lot of moving parts, plus working with government agencies, it's a pain. But it is what it is. You have to comply. You have to comply with all these requirements and everything. Talking about your brokerage now, how young are you, by the way? If you don't mind me asking?
37.
You mentioned that you now are connected with Remax. Okay. This is definitely a natural progression for you because, building subdivisions to constructing buildings and what have you, going to real estate, and of course you studied the course, and you have a master's degree in real estate. So this definitely is a natural progression. So let's talk about that.
Remax is actually an international brokerage. It's actually the #1 real estate brokerage in the whole world. My first encounter with them was actually in Canada. I was in Canada last year. I actually thought Remax was competing with Starbucks or 7-Eleven because I could see Remax all over Calgary, Canada, and that's what curiosed me. And then eventually I was able to speak with one of the agents. And when I got back to the Philippines, they were very responsive. And then on, I had the franchising here in Cebu. And just 2 weeks from signing up, I already had a client from US.
And this is not to be confused with the Remax.
The gadget store.
Yeah, the gadget store. It's not that one, okay?
Yeah.
But that's really interesting because you were able to connect with them and they trusted you enough as a brand yourself to work with them. So that's really good. I believe your connection with Remax is still in its infancy. Like how many months has it been?
Just 5 months.
So again, it's still in its infancy, and for sure there are going to be more projects coming in your way.
Actually, Remax is already 10 years here in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
More than 10 years already. In Cebu, I am the second franchise owner.
Oh.
Yeah. We're about 40 branches already in the whole Philippines, and about 300 brokers.
Okay, now this is a question I asked my wife, and I asked her, is this a good question to ask Jericho? And she said, yes, I think that's a good question. This is something right up your alley, and I think you already have an answer to this. What's your take on building or buying a house versus renting?
Well, for me, I have noticed that there's a shift, especially now having the new lifestyle. People are prioritizing travel over a home or a car or gadgets. So that's why we have those condominiums preparing to those market that maybe they would rent or buy. For now, I can see that the next generation, I don't know if the millennials, probably there's a lot actually are preferring renting over buying because of the work from home setup. They can just work from anywhere, they just transfer here and there, rather than buying a house. And typically as well as our generation and the culture that we have, once you buy, also you are also probably gonna consider your relatives to be there.
True.
And
True.
those kind of questions would really matter. So it really depends on the requirements or the priorities of the individuals. But if you ask me, I would rather for now purchase a property rather than renting. As you can see, the scarcity of land here in Cebu is getting bigger, and I am certain that in the near future, the price of lot or house and lot would be much higher than condos. And we're already seeing the condo problems, issues in Manila.
True.
They're saying 38 months before they can fully sold that out. But in Cebu, in here, there's actually a typical, different way of having these condos. And I've noticed that most developers are now, aside from making it a mixed use from commercial, they're also bringing brands. So the hotel brands like Ascot, Sheraton with Apple One. So it's a complete mix. And at the end of the day, it's really depending on your priorities.
Here in Cebu, and I know this for a fact, it's very different. People are, of course, leaning towards maybe using the condos for Airbnb. Airbnb is making a lot of money from us.
Yeah. And what's unique about Cebu is that with our tourism, that's what's also backing up with the real estate here. Comparing to Manila, there are more of people who are looking for jobs, and etc. And also one thing that lacked there was that the exit of the POGOs. But here, learning from Manila, they're actually stricting now the getting of license to sell is very strict and getting slow. So it's a challenge for real estate developers how to package their real estate.
It's also like an advantage for Cebu because those who are going to get properties here, be it you're going to buy like a house, or if you're going to buy a condo or what have you, or if you're just going to rent, for an Airbnb or whatnot for vacation trips or what have you. The advantage of Cebu is like an hour from where you are, there's a beach.
Yeah.
You can go to Lapu-Lapu, you can go up
to the
north, down
mountains.
south. That's why I think Cebu is a good destination for people who would like to invest. You mentioned this. I think it's really true. People do like renting, especially the digital nomads. I know this for a fact because when we went to Siargao last year, there are a lot of digital nomads right there. If your job only requires you to have internet connection, you don't even need to be hardwired. You just need Wi-Fi. You're good to go in Siargao because you can live there. You can work. And once your work is done, you can go to the beach, get to know more people. Especially, it's good for the singles. You've been there, you know.
Yeah, it's really a matter of the lifestyle that they chose, and probably most of the jobs here, especially for millennials, are geared towards the BPOs and such. So probably it's more about the commitment, especially when they buy properties. It's gonna take you 10, 15 years, and it's a matter of where you are. If you have a stable job, a stable industry, then it can be easier for you to commit for house or a property to buy.
Now our first connection was your classmates with my wife back in elementary. Our next connection was apparently you're a Toastmaster yourself. BSA Solutions has its own Toastmasters club. When I mentioned this, when we talked about it last week, you did compete in the Toastmasters. Was this like a division area thing?
It was already a division area.
Yeah, a division area competition. It was held at SMC side. And the funny thing is, of all the people that you were gonna compete in that event, it was one of our own, Carlos Oratos, who I actually met before we shot the podcast. Tell us more about that.
Actually, with regard to the competition, my first thought was just in our club, I was just thinking to inspire our members to join because we already started with the club level already.
Which
Cebu Toastmasters Club. When I joined way back 2018, just a few months after I joined, they already asked me to compete in the international speech contest.
Wow, okay.
And I was just sharing my story about how I froze at the middle of my speech
Oh.
But eventually, I still got the second place.
Oh, so that's the inspiration to your talk.
And now, when I got the humorous speech, that story from international speech, I brought that to the humorous speech, and probably a lot can relate, a lot can.
I wasn't able to like connect the dots. So you were able to join a competition like years back.
Yeah, years back.
And then that little hiccup was your piece.
Was my piece, yeah.
Wow.
That was my story.
Where was this?
It was in golf course here in Manila.
Cebu Country Club.
Cebu Country Club.
Okay.
And after that, it got me really thinking, why did I join Toastmasters? And eventually, on that year as well, it also helped me to improve on my speaking skills, the confidence.
But you froze and won second place.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because there was just two of us.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, got it.
But in Toastmasters, it's actually a time given. If you're under time,
Right.
you'll be disqualified. If you're over time, you'll also be disqualified. And that's what I was trying to inspire our members in Cebu Toastmasters, that we already have that on the club level. So at least they will have the taste of what is a competition.
Right.
Those competitions, actually, the international speech competition would take you all the way to the US, to the global competition. So I decided, well, probably I'll just take on the humorous speech because it's much harder than to inspire. The crowd usually are very unforgiving. No matter what punchline you say, if you don't say it well or properly,
They're not gonna react.
they're not gonna react.
Ah.
And it's how you also gonna deliver those words, each words, and most importantly, the relatedness of your story.
Like how people
Would relate to-
like resonate to the story.
Yeah,
Okay.
to that humor, and it's all of those. And then I learned that through that competition.
How many, including you and Carlo, how many were you competing for like the humorous speech?
For the Division C humorous speech, there were actually 5 of us who competed, and it was probably our first time from our club level to go into district now.
Okay.
The competition was mostly from the region.
Okay.
Cebu, there can be the Dumaguete, Bohol.
But that's amazing. Congratulations,
Thank
by the
you,
way.
thank you.
Congratulations, by the way. To Carlo, there's always next year. How has Toastmasters helped you, especially with your line of work?
Initially, I joined Toastmaster because my friend Arman invited me. And at that time, way back 2018, that was also the shift from being on our family business to my own construction company.
Okay.
And I was already thinking forward that probably along the way, I will need to speak with investors. I would need to have that confidence to speak in front. And so eventually, I joined Toastmasters with that thought, and just to gain the confidence and the clarity when I speak.
But it's good that you already have like a foresight of what is gonna happen, because at some point, since you then had the construction business all to yourself, then you really have to like hustle and then talk to like business owners, investors, and everything. I remember you mentioned this like the last time we talked. You had a little bit of a stutter. Issue?
I have a stutter.
Like, when did this start?
That's the reason, actually, if my classmates way back from elementary up to college could hear this podcast, they wouldn't probably remember me speaking in front. Because I do have that stutter.
Okay.
I'm already working on that to take that away.
I can't hear you stutter anymore. I mean, that's amazing. How long was the process of you like, working on it, and now like I don't really hear your stutter at all?
Most likely it's because I was already practicing, of course, with the Toastmasters and a lot of people, but it started I couldn't remember when it started. I usually stutter when I need to speak something. My words would usually I would pause most of the time, and most likely there's a lot of thoughts in my mind, and I want to speak.
Okay.
And that all
It
gets
all wants to
tangled
come
up.
out.
Yeah,
It
it
all
all
wants
wants
to
to
come
come
out.
out, and eventually. So I get to learn how to arrange those thoughts and speak speak about it. I'm still working on it. Still working on the stuttering.
But I like your mentality towards it. You're still working on things, and I believe with all the knowledge that you have, with all the shifts that you have, is there going to be another iteration of Jericho in the next 5 to 10 years? You might shift into another business.
Actually, this time I'll be focusing more of the real estate and harnessing that skill. So the first 20 years and 30 years was more of acquiring those skills. Now would be getting those skills where to use it properly. From business, get to learn a lot of skills from accounting, operations, finance, admin, HR, all of those stuff. So it's a matter for me to use all those learnings.
It's great that you're a sponge. You know that? Whatever learnings you get, you just absorb it. You just absorb everything. At some point, you will be able to use all these things you have acquired, learnings you've acquired, and apply it to where it's needed, basically. So you're like a Swiss Army knife. There you go. Yeah. Last thing before we go, Jericho, this generation, of course, we mentioned about this. Some of them get lost in translation because all of the distractions and everything, plus the opportunities that are coming their way. We want to iron things out for them a little bit. What should this generation have in them for them to be able to compete with this fast-paced world? Those who are trying to climb up the corporate ladder, or those who are still trying to get in the corporate ladder?
Well, for me, it's all about reskilling or mastering those skills that you have, especially sales, marketing, and eventually putting those to use. And at the same time, for me, to keep learning. The fast-paced world will outrun you eventually, and you just need to take decision from one decision to another until it will lead you to where you'll be comfortable or where your success will be. Yeah, there's a lot that we need to consider, especially this generation, and it's a matter of setting those goals and working on it, and yeah, just keep learning.
I have a question. Would you advise them to be as risky, as a risk taker like yourself, or would you rather have them concentrate on one more thing and then do the risk taking later?
Well, thank you for bringing that. Actually, our country manager in Remax actually told me that, Jericho, not everyone is like you.
Yes.
You cannot also impart to anyone just to be like you, to change. And with regards to that, getting risk is actually depending on how comfortable are you being comfortable. Most of the people would usually gear towards what's the easiest to get. And just the promotion, for me actually, when speaking as a boss, I haven't been actually to a corporate ladder. I actually tried to apply to some real estate companies in Cebu, and I also look into how can I be much valuable into this company. So yeah, I've heard stories about as you go up, there's a lot of crab mentality,
for sure,
and such. So it's for me, it's actually the value you partake in a company, and it boils down to what are those responsibilities you have, job responsibilities, and what can you do more than that, and have that reality check if you are progressing or not. If are you okay with that progressing, then that's the main problem. Maybe you're just comfortable being on that situation. I've been talking with friends, especially where they are, and they would always think that, oh, their company is this and that, their boss is this and that. And then what I wanted actually for them to also see the picture is that it's actually easy to pinpoint who's wrong. The company is wrong, their boss is wrong. But the moment when you also think, is there something wrong with me? Or if you point those fingers to yourself and take that responsibility, why are you not progressing? Why are you still the same where you are right now?
Why are you stuck?
So it's a matter of those questions. When you wake up in the morning, you'll see who you are, what you want to be.
There. So in closing, basically what we're trying to say is your success depends on you. So ask yourself, what's your motivation to wake up in the morning? Just like what that coffee brand asks.
Para saan ka bumabangon?
Correct. There you go. Jericho, thank you so much for giving us your time here at the Finding Mojo podcast. Before we go, we have a little something for you. We have something for you from BSA Solutions. We have a loot bag of goodies from us. Something for you to remember by. There you go. Everybody give it up for Jericho Bacalso, everyone. I hope you get inspired with everything that we have talked about. And that's about it for us here at the Finding Mojo podcast. My name is Nico. Y'all take care. Till the next episode. Peace!
Welcome to the Finding Mojo podcast. Watch and listen to conversations about humble beginnings, struggles, and victories.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm where I am right now, because I'm kind of stubborn. So like, no, I gotta do this.
Character development really did start when I cosplayed. You bump into troubles when you're younger, and then you realize, oh, I did wrong.
Featuring a healthy melange of guests from different walks of life.
We're trying to find ourselves. We're trying to land our feet on the ground and be part of society. Who are we in society? How can we be useful?
When it comes to youth, I don't know, if you're like 18 years old or 21, 22 years old, just go love a person, love what you do. When you get hurt, just accept it. It's all part of growing up.
Be inspired, get creative, and find your own mojo. The Finding Mojo podcast, powered by BSA Solutions, the place where bright minds meet. A certified great place to work.